um, the African Champions League. I'm not sure. There was a lot of like cheating going on in terms of the Egyptian teams. Like the fans were shining lights in their eyes and things. Have you ever experienced any of this?
Yeah, well, it's you talk about pressure. In 2001, we managed to get to the African Champions League final with Mamelodi Sundowns, and we played against Al Ahly, the Egyptian giants, and it was over 2 legs. Unfortunately, we played the first leg in South Africa, and we drew 1-1. And then going to play the second leg, in front of 80,000 screaming Egyptians at Cairo International Stadium. It's one hell of an atmosphere. And if you don't have a strong character, if you're not able to withstand the kind of abuse and the shining of those lasers into your eyes, then yeah, it becomes very difficult, and you will crumble. So generally, good athletes, professional athletes, don't have much of an imagination. We don't really overthink things when we're on the field. We try to cut out all the peripheral stuff, and if you're good at doing that, then you'll become a good professional, especially in circumstances like that, which we find ourselves in. So yeah, it is. I've been in a number of situations where intimidating situations, having played not only around the world, but also a lot on our continent, where some countries just take football to another level, another level of seriousness, or another level of passion. And it's really great to see, and really an education. But yeah, and it strengthens your character for it, definitely.
Do you think if you would have won that game, there would have been riots or something?
No, look, we didn't put ourselves in a very good situation. I think they knew what was coming. We were a very good footballing team, keeping the ball on the ground and building up from the back. And I think they got a penalty early on in that second leg, which kind of knocked the wind out of us. But we continued to try and play, and the crowd gave us a standing ovation as we walked off the field. But who knows, if we had won, I doubt that would have been the case. But yeah, it's they're a great club with a great history. When we played against North African teams, generally there was a vast contrast in styles, which was quite fascinating. Every time we came up against Esperance of Tunisia, or Zamalek or Al Ahly from Egypt, it was very obvious the different styles of play.
Do you think things like this happen in Europe? Because I know Galatasaray fans, they are like really hectic. I think their stadium is nicknamed Hell or something like that. Do you think the level of probably the level of patriotism, or I don't know what you call it, but do you think that goes on in Europe as well, or is it just Africa?
No. I feel that generally Latino sort of Mediterranean countries, they seem to have a lot of passion for the game, and their fans really show it, which is great to see. I love clubs of that nature. I feel that in Europe, when you're talking about perhaps France, Germany, Italy, and England, they've had much longer histories in the game, over 150 years of history, and they've got into a stage where security at stadiums is top-notch. You have facial recognition. They don't allow any kind of hooliganism. It gets clamped down very quickly. So they've been able to get rid of that element within the game. I remember stories from the 60s and 70s in England, where gangs used to meet at pubs and have street brawls, in the name of their clubs. the English police had a lot on their hands, you know, and they took a long time for them to get rid of those types of fans, so-called fans. In Eastern Europe, there is still a bit of an element of that. I spent 6 years in Russia. A number of their clubs have, unfortunately, a right-wing associated fans, but those generally are very small and insignificant, you know. But yeah, there's a fine line between passion and just simply being a hooligan afterwards.
Yeah, I think a lot of people from like those backgrounds, like maybe they're not privileged enough, and so they looking for fights and things, and getting to soccer teams is just like tribalism almost. So it's an excuse to do those things.
Yeah, it's a form of wanting to be part of a group, wanting to be accepted. That's definitely part of it. And then when it comes to the racism and the right-wing elements, I've always felt, you know, even here in South Africa, you know, racists are people generally who are stuck in a bubble. They haven't got out of there. They haven't been given the chance to get out and interact with people who are different to them. And generally, when you look at the States or Russia, very big countries who have a large rural population and who are generally ignorant to the rest of the world. They haven't had a chance to travel. They haven't had a chance to mix with other people. So unfortunately, you still do get those types. And